Social Explorer Part 1, Basics and Census Tracts. In this video, we will look at some basic functions of Social Explorer. This is the first of two videos. We will use Census Tracts to look up neighborhood data and utilize something called the Neighborhood Tabulation Area Chart from NYC Planning. In part 2, we will create a table of data in Social Explorer for the Morningside Hamilton Heights neighborhood using Census Tracts and the NTA. Social Explorer is a robust database that uses several sources to create data profiles of geographic areas in the United States. You can filter them using thousands of variables. The primary data source is the U.S. Decennial Census and the American Community Surveys, or ACS. To get to Social Explorer, go to the City College Library's homepage at library.ccny.cuny.edu to the Database A to Z link below the One search box. Click under S for Social Explorer. And the link is in the list. Social Explorer has a big learning curve, so I encourage you to take the time to watch the how-to videos on your class LibGuide. Social Explorer also has its own LibGuide, and there's a link on your guide. The landing page offers lots of examples and tutorials. So if you look on the side here, there's teach and learn, lectures, lecture launchers, and training modules. Take some time to click around the links on the home page to explore the scope of the data available to you. Now, if we scroll down the home page, you see some preloaded examples with different maps and data variables. You have general data, health data, socio-political data, and environmental data. So it gives you a sense of what kind of scope these maps can cover. Now, if we go back to the second map on this list, this is a U.S. decennial censuses on 2010 geographies, and this is actually a map that compares population density in 1970 to population density in the year 2000. So it gives you a 40-year spread. And this is a good example of the type of things that you can do with the maps on Social Explorer. So all of these little boxes, they do something to the map. So I encourage you to go into those preloaded maps and go around. You can change the data choices, but right now I want to just interact with the map and show you how it works. So this is a split map, and the left side contains census data from 1970, population density, and it's on the 2010 geographies. And on the right side is the census data from 2000. So that gives population density per square mile. And again, it's on the 2010 map. That's what the map looked like in 2010. So it splits these two maps, and if you go to the center, you can switch between the two, and you see that if you look carefully, some of the colors change because the densities change in the different decades. Now, on the bottom, you can zoom in, and I want to zoom into New York State. You can just drag the map over. So if you hover over a state, there's this really cool feature that it gives you the population density from the left side on the top. So population density per square mile in New York, according to the 1970 census, was 402.671 in 1970. And the population density in 2000 was 386.980 per square mile. Now, the thing I really wanted to show you is, let's try, if we keep going in, you see the detail starts to, the borders start to show up, and these are county borders. So you have the states, and then as you scroll in, there's county borders. Now let's see if we can focus in on New York City. I see it. I'm going to put it in the middle here. So as you get closer, you start to see even more borders. Now, if you scroll over, you see that these borders represent census tracts. So if we go in, let's see if we can find City College's neighborhood. And as you get closer, the data, um, the map gives you more information. So this is Central Park, and we scroll up. It looks like right here. So um, let's scroll in a little bit more and see what this is. So look, it's St. Nicholas Park is right here. So here we have the area that includes City College and all these census tracts. So the geography levels in Social Explorer generally are state, county, zip codes, and then these census tracts. Now, that doesn't help us if we're looking into neighborhoods in New York City. Just to give you a sense, the 13th Congressional District of New York, which includes Upper Manhattan and parts of the Bronx, the population there is, let's scroll down, I think it's about 750,000. It's over 750,000. And that's bigger than the city of Buffalo. So if this congressional district were a city, it would be one of the biggest cities in New York State. So there's dozens of census tracts that cover each neighborhood. So how do we determine what census tracts are included in the neighborhoods? Well, NYC planning has the solution. It's called the neighborhood tabulation areas. And if you go to NYC Planning's census download and metadata page, there's a section on neighborhood tabulation areas, and it says the 2020 and 2010 neighborhood tabulation areas are medium-sized statistical geographies for reporting decennial census and American Community Survey 2020 NTAs are created by aggregating 2020 census tracts and nest within community district tabulation areas. So in a nutshell, these neighborhood tabulation areas are basically spreadsheets that include all the census tracts within New York City neighborhoods. If you go down, you see a couple different offerings. Look, they have REST and GeoSon. They have these special data forms. But let's go down to the third one. It says 2020 census tracts to 2020 NTAs and CDTAs equivalency. So this is a spreadsheet that includes the census tracts inside of those neighborhood tabulation areas. and I downloaded it. All you have to do is click download and it downloads. But I uploaded it onto my screen, and this is what it looks like. It gives you a geo ID, and the it gives you the borough, and it gives you the census tract for 2020 and the neighborhood name, the CDTA name. So I've already I've landed on the section that includes Morningside Heights and Hamilton Heights, and um, that's about 20 census tracts that make up this neighborhood. And since we have this chart, we can just refer to the census tract numbers on this chart. And what we'll do is we'll take those 20 numbers and we'll plug them into our table when we create our table in Social Explorer in the next video. In the meantime, I would like you to take a few minutes, go into Social Explorer before you watch the next video and click around a little. Take 5 minutes to click around and see what it does, and I'll see you at the next video.